Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, and innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Bilal Brahim, founder and CEO at Fame. Bilal, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, great to have you, Bilal. You're doing something really interesting in the space of the farmers in the agriculture. So I want to know more. But first thing first, let's start with the uh, an overview about Fame and what made you start Fame at this time.
What made me start Fame is mainly like conversation with farmers from Nigeria. We started with like just Twitter Spaces talking about farming, and then I realized that actually it is the most promising area for financial inclusion. When we focus on farmers, we really can solve financial inclusion with blockchain at a global scale. So that's how I started in 2021, and I went to Nigeria. I met the farmers there. I created real strong bonds, and we started having meeting about real world problem for farmers and how bad is the financial exclusion in such countries.
Nice. And so, give us like how are you different from the other platforms? Are there any platform that you're doing the same thing, Bilal?
Yeah, I looked at a lot of agricultural platforms, try to connect farmers and consumers. But one of the problem, there are two main problems. The main one is obviously the food transparency. Often the platforms present themselves as the trusted middlemen, and what I wanted to do is to have the farmers themselves promote their products and the consumer getting to know the farmers. So that's why it's also called FAME. It's a play of word. It's for food autonomy and mutual empowerment, but also we want to bring the spotlight on the farmer. So we want the farmer themselves to promote their product, and we incentivize them to promote their product themselves. So food transparency is the first pillar. The second one, obviously, is financial inclusion because we use blockchain to create a wallet that are pre-funded. So any farmer who comes on the app, on the Fame app, it is all free. He can promote his product, and also he has a crypto wallet enabled with euro and dollars, which are the strongest currencies in the world, to help him get real savings. Because we all know, like most of developing countries have these inflation rates that are killing the smallholder farmers. They don't realize how much purchasing power they are losing every day, every year. So having them access to the dollar and the euro can really be life-saving because inflation can be at as high as 18% in countries like Nigeria, Kenya. It can be very high as well. So by providing this financial inclusion aspect, we can really solidify their purchasing power and their ability for them to recruit and to grow their business. And we also introduce financial services thanks to the blockchain. Like we introduce staking so they can earn a passive income with their USDC, which is safe because it's a stable coin and they don't have to go into volatile assets so much. They can just keep their saving in the app and earn a passive income in a decentralized way. So we never control the funds. They are fully custodian of their funds and they have real property ownership, financial inclusion. And the last pillar is the decentralized governance. So we are also building DAOs for farmers to be able to come together and to make democratic decisions on how to manage their own treasury.
Mm. How much of the education goes into this, Bilal?
Thank you. This is the most important question. I was myself a philosophy teacher for 14 years, and I know how obviously I was dedicated for education almost all my life. And I think education in Web3 has to be smart. Like we cannot try to teach blockchain to everybody, to every single the farmer. No one cares. Like it's like trying to explain how internet works to an internet user. It doesn't make sense. What we will need to try to do is to provide education on what really it means to own an asset. Because what we want users who really own their assets, not trusting entities like banks or governments. Because where the government is broken, you trust the government or a big institution like a bank for your assets, you can pay the high price, especially in broken countries, like many of the countries in developing countries. That's mainly the problem. There is no trust, there is no legal structure that can protect the smallholder farmers, so they can only deal with cash. To explain them that they can finally own their own asset. No one can touch them. They are in full control, like self custody. I think is the main point that we need to put forward for the people, that they can finally own their own asset and they can manage them just from a mobile phone and an internet connection, which is also a problem because obviously internet is not still fully distributed among humans.
Yeah. Um, that this is really powerful. You're empowering these farmers in Africa. Is it only in Africa, or is it also other regions as well?
I started in Africa. My focus groups were in Africa, especially Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Morocco. And then I realized that the more I talked about it, and it spread out, we have now many users in India. I've been only once in India, in New Delhi. I had only one talk there, Impact Summit, Algorand Foundation Impact Summit in Delhi. I started talking to students and they started to spread the app around. The app is global, it's free. Like we have users across 50 countries. But my first focus group was obviously Africa, but it's spread out. Now we have many users in India, in the US as well. People are selling stuff in the US as well, in France. So it's global, but we started really focusing on the unbanked farmers of Nigeria, Kenya, and Tanzania.
Nice. Now, obviously, um, innovation. You're like in a cutting edge of innovation in the area of farming, agriculture, and so on. What inspires you continue innovating, and how do you keep your motivation high during challenging times? Obviously, there's no innovation without challenging, right? So.
Yeah, it's true. It is a very challenging time, especially in blockchain industry, because AI came and took the spotlight of blockchain in the last 2 years. So investors switched their focus from blockchain to AI. So it is challenging, but I keep in mind what is really important, and what's important is to fight inequality globally. Inequality is mainly the name of inequality for me is financial exclusion, like 1.8 billion humans don't have access to any kind of banking services. And with blockchain, we can do that. We can offer them for free, all basic financial services. And we can also kind of provide an alternative to the Visa, MasterCard global domination, because blockchain offers that. And having those two entities controlling all financial transactions of the world, basically, it's kind of insane when you think about it. So what keeps me motivated is to really think about what kind of humanity do we want? Do we really want free humans who can transact freely without any kind of monopoly controlling their transactions, or do we want all humans to be able to transact freely and to also grow economically? Because many of the problems that we face with Europe and Africa, or like immigration in Europe, like complaining, but if they leave their country, there is a reason for that. It's because there is no financial structure, no legal structure. There are problems that we can't even imagine from Paris or London that they are facing, and financial exclusion is one of them.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you got to lead the teams. You got to lead those farmers in terms of the use of your platform. How do you define your leadership style, Bilal, and what
Uh,
principles guide your decision making?
I think from a philosophical point of view, uh, there are some principles, like even like from theologians that I studied in when I studied philosophy of religion, is one of the quote that I remember the most is, "Our masters are the poor." Like when we guided by this principle, I realized that I just have to listen, because those smallholder farmers, they know better than any of us, any specialist, what are the real problems
Mm.
and how to solve them, because they are solving all their problems every day in a very messy environment. So listening to them, I think, is the most important, because they know the problem. They already have solutions. What we can do is to help them get other kind of solution thanks to digitalization, blockchain, and computing science and AI and everything we can bring for them. But we can just facilitate the transition from day-to-day solution to something that can be automated and stable and robust for the long term. That's why we're also working on those treasury management with the DAOs, how they can manage their treasury trustlessly. Like they don't need to trust each other. They just need to trust the technology, which is also another difficulty to explain.
Mm. Yeah.
But listening, I would say listening is the most important.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, a lot of time we fail listening because of the you know, usually like we try to just keep pushing things in people, like communication, same thing, like it's just broadcasting. And so listening, it's a very important. I like that, the way how you take this approach, and hearing from them what are the needs, because they have their hands on, they're in the field. And so unless you hear them, you really don't know much of the problem they're facing. Now, what is your approach to failure? Obviously, as an entrepreneur, you know, we fail nonstop. What's your approach to fail, and how do you encourage the risk taking while maintaining the business?
Well, that's a huge question, to be honest. I don't have any answer, to be honest. Like failure um, is hanging upon us every day. It's difficult to really rest as an entrepreneur. You know, before I was a philosophy teacher, I was a public servant. I had a job for life in France as a teacher. I didn't even realize how difficult it is to live with this constant threat of failure. It can be, especially in computer science, like you can have something breaking down in the software, which can be like a catastrophic for the whole project.
Yeah.
You can have developers um, like being sick and at the wrong moment, like so many problems can go. And fundraising obviously can be difficult, especially in this time. I cannot pretend I have any answer to failure. Like it's a constant threat that keeps us all awake and us also all working. Like we work because we are afraid of. In my opinion, I work hard because I don't want to fail. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to let the farmer who I said we will try to do that. No, we stopped. I'm doing something else now. I would hate that. And my
Yeah.
developers, I would hate to let my developers down, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
it's fear. For me, it's just a fear. Just a fear.
Yeah. It's
Fear.
kind of knowing how to manage fears, and to identify and use that, maybe channel that towards getting up and do more when those fears come. You know, it's always a challenge for the entrepreneurs. Obviously, you mentioned like the unexpected things, especially in your case, coming from a world where it was more like kind of secure,
Yeah.
showing up at work every single day, knowing that that work is there, and there's only challenge you're gonna face from that classroom, and that's pretty much it. Where as an entrepreneur, you're like you got challenges left and right coming your way. Now, Bilal, what does the word bold mean to you?
I think bold to me is courage. It's courage. Like Plato say, like the first quality of a philosopher is courage, because you need to stuck with your principle and you need to really stuck to your dreams and your goals. And to me, bold is courage. Like we have to be courageous to try to provide a better solution than Visa and Mastercard, who are controlling all the financial transactions in the world. And that's kind of bold for the Fame project. Like we really try to Like we have obviously faster finality, lower fees, and it's peer-to-peer, no one between the users, so the transaction not instant or in the chat. So you just pay as you send a message like an SMS, but globally, and basically 10 times cheaper than any Visa MasterCard transaction. So that's bold, but then being bold is not enough because you still have to let the people know about your solution. Like we are more interesting than a transaction by Visa or Mastercard, but who knows? No one knows, or even M-Pesa in Kenya, but no one knows about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's I always say it's not the best product that wins, but best well-known product that wins, right? And so
exactly,
how can
exactly.
you create a great product, but also how can you make sure your product is widely known in the market is important, and that's what we're trying to do here. Congrats on all of your work, Bilal, and make that day every single day a day where the farmers looking forward to you bring innovation to them. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always.
Thank you so much. Yeah, people, let's be bold and let's do it.
Let's go. Cheers.